Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 Patch 5 will change the way you play the game. Update 5.0 for Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 has been published on December 10, 2024, on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series XS, bringing a new co-op mission, a challenging enemy type, and sweeping balance changes to melee combat. Focus Entertainment and Saber Interactive premiered a new trailer to celebrate the biggest content update to date for their blockbuster third-person action game, Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. The Obelisk update is available to all players now and brings a new replayable map for the Operations PvE mode, a new Chaos enemy, a huge Dark Angels cosmetic pack for Season Pass owners, and a lot more. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 is available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Steam, and Epic Games Store. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 continues to be a truly excellent third-person shooter in large part thanks to the immense post-launch support it continues to get from Saber Interactive. Whether it's new operations for players to sink their teeth into, towering new bosses to face, or powerful new weapons to blast Tyranids and Chaos forces alike, Space Marine 2 continues to get plenty of love. On top of today's gameplay additions, the Obelisk update comes with a number of tech improvements for consoles and PC players alike. PS5 Pro owners can now enjoy the grim dark atmosphere of the 41st millennium with increased maximum resolution at up to 60 FPS in performance mode and 30 FPS in quality mode thanks to the PlayStation 5 Pro's spectral super resolution technology, allowing for upscaled 4K resolution. PC players are also now able to take full advantage of AMD's FSR 3 and NVIDIA's DLSS 3 with the addition of frame generation support. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 Update 5.0 Patch Notes. New features. New operation. Operation Obelisk. In this new operation, you'll be sent to Demirium and your mission is to rotate a replica of the Obelisk to disrupt the flow of energy protecting the Aurora device. This operation takes place in parallel to the final events of the campaign. To reach the console control of the Obelisk, you'll have to make it through a tomb plunged into darkness. New Majori's enemy. Zanginger Enlightened. Cosmetic content of the Dark Angels Chapter Pack. Added. FSR 3/DLSS 3. Support of frame generation component for DLSS and FSR. Balancing. Melee damage increased across the board. Blocking weapons. By blocking enemy attacks, the player will accumulate up to 3 stacks of melee damage buffs. Attacking while having those stacks of buffs will spend them and will result in massive AoE damage discharge. Mastercrafted versions. Damage increased by 20%. Artificer versions. Damage increased by 20%. Relic versions. Damage increased by 20%. Perfect block. All block weapons have been reworked with a new mechanic, Perfect Block and Adrenaline Surge. Perfectly timed blocks grant up to 3 Adrenaline Surge stacks. Adrenaline Surge stacks greatly increase melee damage and are consumed after the next melee attack. Attacking with 3 stacks of Adrenaline Surge deals massive AoE damage, staggers enemies, and restores 1 armor segment. Note that the right wrist glows in yellow after the parry, which signifies that the Adrenaline Surge is ready to use. When used, a red explosion detonates on the enemy hit, deals AoE damage, and regenerates an armor segment. Fencing weapons. Perfect parry AoE stagger radius slightly reduced. Balanced weapons. Perfect parry AoE stagger radius greatly increased. Mastercrafted versions. Damage increased by 10%. Artificer versions. Damage increased by 10%. Relic versions. Damage increased by 10%. Unarmed/firearm melee. Stomps can now be chained indefinitely. With these changes, fencing weapons will still be great versus limited numbers of enemies, balanced weapons will be good versus big crowds, and blocking weapons will become damage dealer type weapons, the developers explained. Neo-Fokite Pistol. Volkite damage sensitivity has been increased from 1 to 1.5 for these enemies. Devourer Tyranid Warrior, Barbed Strangler Tyranid Warrior, Venom Cannon Tyranid Warrior, Rubric Marine, Flamer Rubric Marine, Zoanthrope. Bolt Carbine. Max ammo of all SMG-type bolt carbines increased by 1 magazine. Extermination bonus. Rank A. Killing more than 85% spawned enemies grants plus 120% XP pre-patch value. Rank B. Killing more than 60% spawned enemies grants plus 110% XP pre-patch value. Rank C. Killing less than 60% spawned enemies grants plus 100% XP pre-patch value. Quality of life. Dodge and vulnerability logic is now client-sided, meaning that dodges will be responsive and more accurate with higher ping. Players are now invulnerable to new instances of damage, while in knockback animation. Added 10 frames of invulnerability at the start of jump pack launch animation, campaign, and operations only. Dodge and parry sound notification clarity has been greatly improved. Heavy's barrier can be activated in more player states, e.g., during stagger animation. Player controls are slightly more responsive after using Vanguard's grapnel launcher. Added spawn protection in PvP. Added Neophokite pistol in PvP. AI. Shielded Zoanthrope will now attack much less frequently. You will no longer fight extremist-level enemies on your first encounter right after the start of a mission. Lots of minor animation fixes for various enemies. Customization. Added. Lenses color customization. Fixed shading of Balthasar Gold and Ashapti Bone colors. Fixed a number of small bugs with certain armor pieces not applying colors correctly. Operations. Fall of Atrus. Made adjustments to scripting to make this level shorter and more in line with the duration of other levels. The second sequence with the Dreadnought, Repel the Assault, is randomized now and may not happen. The fusion battery needs to be charged only once in the final sequence. Large amounts of small fixes in level geometry collision and terminus enemies getting stuck in some areas. Fixes. Getting kicked out of a session will still grant kicked player XP rewards based on checkpoint completion. Exiting the turret charging wheel in the termination operation is now quicker. Improved a few enemies counting for Purge Them All achievement. Fixed a bug where combat knife charged attacks would occasionally heavy hit every time without charging. Fixed a bug where Heavy's primary weapon was not shooting after joining in progress. Fixed a bug where party leader could get stuck on a loading screen in rare cases. Fixed Hierophant's damage sensitivity to certain weapons. It can still be damaged by normal weapons, but the damage is reduced. Fixed a bug where Helldrake was not taking any damage from shots in rare cases. Fixed a bug where Helldrake could be knocked off its pedestal by shots from an underbarrel grenade launcher. Fixed a bug where Amira would not take any damage from shots in the final mission in rare cases. Fixed a rare bug where players were shown a long black screen instead of death screen in PvP. Fixed a bug where players could not see each other's customization in rare cases. Fixed a bug where the Neophokite pistol would deal damage further than its actual visual effects. Fixed a bug where enemies were able to pierce block stance with double attack. Fixed a bug with Bulwark's Armor of Contempt perk not triggering correctly and dealing friendly fire. Fixed an issue where the Neophokite pistol would sometimes trigger a chain of explosions and cause performance issues. Fixed a rare bug with Vanguard's Zone of Impact perk not triggering correctly.